Hey everyone, how are we today? Just wanted to jump on here real quick and talk about something that's been coming up over the last week for me and a lot around the collective is fear. So, a couple weeks ago, I put my first video on beliefs and, looking at stuff that's ours and not ours. And today I wanted to go in a little more detail about fear. Um, so, First, we want to look at our fears and say, are they ours or do they belong to somebody else's? So you can start navigating through the different things that is there, right? So, if it's not your fear, if it's something that you got over who knows what kind of time from your mom, from your dad, from your family, that you can start getting that shed off your system, okay? Then you can start getting to like your core fears. And I wanted to tell you about this fear about the frequency and the resonation of fear and the frequency and resonation of like excitement. So if you think back to maybe the first time you were going to be on a roller coaster ride and you were so excited and you were just like, oh yeah, I want to do this, even though you may have had little like emotions bubbling up inside of you, you were still like, yeah, I want to do this. And then maybe somebody next to you was like, oh, I'm so scared. This is so scary. I'm such in fear. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. That's too scary. Well, you just now resonated that excitement with a scary or a fear resonation. So sometimes our fear is just excitement, and then the word fear got put on it. And so then it made us scared to do something, right? So with that being said, you have to look in and start breaking down now this level of fear. Now your core fears, okay, is it really something that is a fear? Or is it something that was super exciting at one time and then it made you be scared? So you break down those, you start shifting through those things to see then where you're resonating in your core fears. And once you get down to the core fear of yourself, then you start looking at that fight or flight moment, right? So right now I'm seeing a lot of this in society where our fears, and I'm sure it's happened along, throughout history, but it's really prevalent right now with what everything's going on. So our fear is keeping us either what I consider stuck in the mud, or it's escalating you forward into do something else, right? So when I made a decision to go on a journey, and I went for the month of August, and I went and stayed out in the woods by myself, did primitive camping, and and yeah, there were a little bit of fears with that, but then I also was like, you know what? Okay, I can do this. Let's go. And I realized that some of those fears that I was holding on to weren't really mine. They belonged to somebody else, and I was able to let it go and walk it through and be done with it. And I went out there perfectly fine. Everything was good. You have a couple moments where, at nighttime, you don't know what animals are coming through or whatnot, and you still get a little nervous, and it's like, oh, okay. But the actual going and taking the step to do something different, that what once would have caused a lot of fear in me and kept me stuck in the mud, kept me not moving forward, and I chose to say, you know what, nope, it's not going to happen this time. I'm done. I'm going for it, and we're doing it. So that's what I wanted to tell you with your fears right now is sometimes, you're looking at something and you're getting so stuck in the mud with fear that you're not allowing yourself to move forward. You're not allowing yourself to take certain steps that may be super beneficial to you in the long run. And, the universe is saying, hey, we got you. Hey, we're going to show you this. Hey, but they're only going to show you so many times before they say, well, you're just stuck in the fear mud and you can stay there until you decide to make the choice to get out, right? So it's really time to start looking at that stuff, especially right now with things that are going on, especially things that, things are being said, oh, just do this one more thing and everything will be fine. Just do this one more thing and everything will be fine. Well, is your fear keeping you stuck in the mud to where you're agreeing and you're saying, oh yeah, if I do that one more thing, I'm going to be fine. If I do that one more thing, I'm going to be fine. Well, maybe if I just do this one more thing, then I'll be fine. And you're seeing that, it's not progressing forward. It's just staying stuck in the mud. So how do you get out of that mud, right? Well, you look at your fear. You look at, say, what is holding you there? How is it holding you there? Maybe it's a who that's holding you there. And then you can look at, well, do I decide to get out of it or do I decide to stay in it? So to get out of it, you just make a choice. Yeah, okay, admit to yourself, man, this is a little scary. This is a little fearful, but I'm going to make that step forward. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because it's something new. Maybe you're going to have like some jitters and nervousness and oh my gosh, like you're stepping off and jumping over that big space that you think, man, I don't know if I can jump over. Or when you were a kid, you were running and jumping and, you made it and you're like, yeah. Well, that's where the opposite, that's where when you're having the flight part of that, you're using your fear to accelerate you. You're using it to push you forward. You're admitting that, yeah, you might have a little bit, and it's okay to have a little bit. It's okay to say, oh man, I'm fearful of that, but I'm going to be unafraid and I'm going to step forward anyhow. So that you can really use it to propel you forward. I'm sure that a lot of people in our history, a lot of our scientists that we have, a lot of our people that thought outside of the box when it was a time that wasn't really prevalent for them, I'm sure they had all kinds of different emotions happening, and maybe fear was one of them, and that fear of failure or fear of whatever, but they didn't let it stick them in the mud. They just kept saying, oh, well, what's next? Oh, well, what's next? I'm going to continue taking this next step. I'm going to continue moving forward. I'm going to continue to do my experiments. And you know what? If they fail, they fail. That's okay. These people can talk. This person can talk. That's all right. And so we've had a lot of great, inventions come out because people decided to step out of their box. They decided to continue to move forward and not be stuck, not get stuck in the mud, right? So I really would like you guys to really think about this today and think about it every day and start breaking down and looking at these beliefs that you have and at this fear belief and processing through it so that way you can truly own, what is yours and ask it to come forward. So when I find something in myself and I say, okay, like I have this fear and it's mine, I will ask it then, what is it? Who is it? When is it? Where is it? So I can kind of get a guide of, where this fear got stuck in me, what happened to it, where I claimed ownership of it. And then I'll ask it to come forward. And I'll be like, okay, well, let's come forward and let's learn from this because it's a lesson. It's a lesson in learning from the past where it was stuck to bringing it forward to process through and see what is coming about of it and what I can do about it. Now, sometimes are we going to have an immediate fear where we can't process through something like that? Of course, if you're faced in a situation where somebody, is going to do harm to you, that's a different sort of fear. That's a different sort of one-on-one. This person is going to do something to me. Uh-oh, I got to do something. What do I do? Those are different situations in fear, but something like that is going to be a quick decision, and it's going to move forward, and you can look at that later, and you can look at that and say, okay, what have I learned from this? What can I do different from this? How can I process this? And so in that situation, you wouldn't hold on to your emotion. You would let the emotion release. You would work through it and you'd let the emotion release. I'm talking about more of the lifelong fears that we've lived with that are keeping us kind of stuck in our situations, stuck in the mud, not propelling forward. So I loved being able to bring this all to you guys and share the knowledge that I have. I'm so thankful that I get to reach many people in doing this work that I do. I really hope that you guys can like and subscribe and share my videos to help other people to learn and really be able to maneuver through their life a little better. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.